Can you see that? Just nod, okay. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, thanks for joining us, and as people join, they'll be able to catch up with us. Tonight we're going to talk about that next steps to reinvention. I talk a lot about that, and so this is the next steps after you've sort of figured out that you're ready for something different. You're ready for a change, and you're ready to live a different lifestyle. And part of that is going to be really talking about going to a business. Hi, Lisa. Can you hear me? Or can you see us? I hope you can. So anyway, we've got some good information. So be ready to write some notes, and also, sort of get rid of some of the distractions. I'm always distracted by my phone. So in fact, I don't know if I'm muted it, but I'm going to right now. Yeah, okay. So we'll go ahead and get going. For attending tonight, if you haven't received your checklist, business success checklist, I will be sending that. Just email me and let me know that you didn't get it, and I will send it to you. And it's really a good checklist for those who are getting ready to start a business or those who are in business. And that's really what Next Steps is about. It's about getting that financial part of your life set so that all those lifestyle things that you want to do can be done. So you're in the right place if you're struggling financially and you're looking for a way to earn extra income or replace your full-time income, or you have a business idea that you've had in your mind for years. I talk to a lot of women who say they want, they've had these things they wanted to do, but they haven't been able to really get it off the ground. Or if you're just ready to take that next step in reinvention and become the CEO of you. I know Carmen's on the line, and I think you too, Laquita, both of you. Carmen has a full-time business, and I know, Laquita, you've done network marketing or direct sales type businesses. And I'm not sure, I think Lisa has also been in the business world. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we go to the next steps in business. So, there are 5 million people over 55 here in America who own a business, 5 million people. And that 5 million people is a significantly higher number than it was just a few years ago. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that people over 50 are finding that between getting laid off, getting downsized, just being in a burnout position, that they're really wanting to do something different. And so they're finding that starting a business is one of the things that could help them. But in everything, when we first get that idea, I want to do that, there are certain things that sort of get in the way, those obstacles that get in the way. And so I want to first talk about those 5 things that keep us from either committing totally to a business or from starting a business. And one of them is age. We think we're too old to do it now. We should have done it when we were younger, and now we are at that age that we think that this is the time, some of us think it's time to be settling down. But one thing that's different from our generation, and I spoke of this just a couple of weeks ago at Carmen's event, is that our moms, when they raised their kids, they went from being a full-time mom to totally just being free. And they were satisfied with that. Women today go from that empty nest to wanting to find their greatness, wanting to do something great and leave a legacy. And sometimes we think that because of our age, we can't do that. but age is just a number. And when you're dealing with products and services, people who do business with you don't care. They just want a good product, a good quality product, or a good service. The other thing that keeps us is fear. We're afraid. And mostly we're afraid to fail. Or we're afraid that we won't be able to really build what we are looking for, and that it'll just be too hard. So we shy away from it because of that fear. And the way to overcome fear is action. So if you find yourself, oh, I'm afraid to do it because I may fail, and everybody fails, so that's not a big deal. We all do in some capacity. But to get over fear and to get over failure is to take action and do. The other thing is lack of money. We're afraid that if we don't have that consistent income, that we can't do it. We have to have that steady paycheck. And one thing I always tell people when I'm counseling them is, if you're working, don't quit your job until you know that you are in the right place and you're on the right track. Carmen's on the line. She is a witness that she had struck out and quit her job for a while to do full-time business. And then she realized she had to go back because time wasn't right. And that's okay, because now she's doing her business full-time, and this is the right time for her. So don't let lack of money make it be that this is the right time for you. And the fourth thing is success. Some of us don't know what to do with success. We have been employees for so long, making other people successful, that when we're like, oh, what do we do? And really, when you think of it, success means different things to different people. So have your own success and cherish it and let it be about a part of who you are. And don't be afraid to go out and be successful. And then number 5 is those negative people around us. There's always going to be those people who tell us, you need to get a job, or why are you doing this? You're too old to do it. You did that 20 years ago and you failed, or you can't do that business. People who do that business fail, all that negative stuff. And if it doesn't come from outside, it comes from within us, within our own heads. So these are the 5 reasons that we just tend to not do it. But when you look at the benefits of having your own business, they can sort of counteract these 5 reasons that you don't. So let's talk about the 5 benefits of owning your own business. And I believe that these totally outweigh, and I can testify that they do, because I've been doing this for a long time. Freedom. It truly is freeing. Now, you do have work. You have to do your own work, yes. But freedom is the number 1 reason to have your own business, because you determine what you earn. You determine your hours. You are accountable only to you. And that's very freeing. Secondly, no more pink slips. When my last job was in my 30s, and I was a manager in a large software development firm. I just thought I was all that, and I had a staff of writers that reported to me, and I'm just thinking, oh, I'm heading up this corporate ladder. And one day I walked in, and they gave me this pink slip. Blew me away. Like, what? And at that moment, I don't know what made me do it, but at that moment I said, I'm never working for anybody else again. And I didn't. That was my last job. My baby Tori was almost a year. And I said, that's it, I'm done. No one will ever do that to me again. And they didn't. So it's very freeing. No pink slips. You get to choose who you work with. You get to choose your clients. You have a rude person, you can say, I'm not working with that person. You get to pick the team of people you partner with. Carmen's one of my partners. We chose each other because she is an amazing lady. I want her in my circle. And I think she wants me in her. So it's a win-win. So you get to choose that person. And then you have multiple sources of income. You can stay on your job if you want and have that extra income. Or if you have a business, you can have multiple businesses. It gives you the freedom to have all these different incomes coming in. You are not limited. And then, of course, you're not limited to your financial goals. There are no limits. You can make as much as you want, or you can, go and do as little as you want. The thing is that you decide where your financial goals are. No one else is doing that for you. So those are so if you look at the negatives versus the benefits, I believe that these benefits outweigh that substantially. So here I am. This is me. I have been doing 50-something for several years now. It started as a speech that I gave for the Womanpreneur in 2015. I was one of their keynote speakers, had never spoken before. And after that, I had so many people telling me I had spoken to a group that had not had an advocate, and that was women over 50. And I had been blogging, and it just 50-something just sort of came out of that. So now I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, and I am an author. Actually, I have 2 books that should be coming out soon. I didn't release them last year because I didn't want to confuse that whole thought of reinvention and reinventing yourself. I have been an entrepreneur 30 plus years. I have earned millions of dollars sitting at home, raising my kids. And I'm proud of that because it took taking those, and we'll talk about this later, how you take your skills and your talents and you create your own reality. You create your own business. And I've had every kind of business you can think: franchise, consulting, retail business, service business over the years. And all of them I was able to make money and raise my kids. My 25 tomorrow year old son has never had a sitter because I chose to really concentrate on the business I could do from home specifically. And so I do know a lot about business. I had sort of decided that I wasn't going to concentrate on that in the beginning because I thought it was more important to talk about the identity of being 50, the struggles of being 50. And I think I've talked about that enough. And now it's talking about the financial goals that can come with being 50, the things we can do because we are now free, truly free, because we're no longer raising kids and doing PTA and going to sports events and all that. We truly have the time to do something for ourselves. So we're gonna get started tonight. It starts, of course, everything for me starts with lifestyle reinvention. And like I was saying before, we talked a lot about that, and that's really deciding what you're going to do for yourself in life. Are you going to write a book? And if that's what is something that you've been burning to do, then do that and then find a way to make that a profitable thing for you. And it's not all, lifestyle is not all about profit. It's about wanting to travel. I want to travel the world. I want to run a marathon. I always say that because I know so many women over 50 who are training to run marathons. So there are so many things that you can actually do in your reinvention. But like I said, I am now saying that it's a good thing to have that plan of where you're going to go and what you're going to do, but it's also a good thing to have some resources, financial resources, to help you do it. And one of the ways, and I think one of the most freeing ways in our 50s, is to be our own boss. And you can, in however ways that we're going to do that. So tonight we're going to talk about how to take that lifestyle plan that those of you who have read my book and maybe have your own lifestyle plan in hand, how we take that and turn that to the next steps. That's why I called this Next Steps. It's truly the next step to reinvention. So we're going to talk about these 5 things. And you can take notes here because some of these are things that you'll want to go back to, I believe. So we'll talk about overcoming your identity crisis. To me, everything starts with identity. If you don't know who you are, you cannot do anything. Then we're going to talk about those 5 businesses to start after 50, the most profitable, the safest, and the less risky businesses to start after 50. We're going to take an inventory of your experience and skills, and then it's decision time. It's time to decide what you're going to do. And then we'll talk about thinking like a CEO, because there's some definite things that come with that. So let's get going. I'm going to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Okay, so we're going to really talk about identity right now. Don't let your struggle become your identity. One thing that I did is I did just that. When I had my interior design business and the 2008 housing crash came and it crashed along with it because so many of my clients went bankrupt, I let that define me. And it defined me so much that I just shut down. Now, I thought I was unique in that. I thought that was like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you get through this? But as I started talking to more and more women, I found that I wasn't the only one. That struggle, that business, having to close that business to stop the bleeding financially, I let that struggle become who I was. I had forgotten my strength. I had forgotten who I was. And I had forgotten that person who had all the years been able to do so many things successfully that I became that person. And like a lot of other ladies, I sort of fell into depression that led into actually doing lifelessness, doing nothing. And it took a lot of working with a coach. It took the faith I have in God. It took my children, my husband, all of them to help me get through that. And it also took knowing that I was not alone. I was with other women who have the same experience. So that issue of struggle and identity, it can be so overwhelming that you lose sight of so much. So when I do my coaching, these are the things that I deal with in terms of identity. I have all my clients write positive affirmations about who they are and who they want to be and who they who they were when they were in the height of their moving up, and everything doesn't always come back down to your career or anything like that, but I am. And it's not written in I was or I will be, I am. So the mirror tells it all. Look in your mirror and determine who's looking back at you. The mirror will tell you. And if you see those sad eyes, you see that frowny face, you know that you need to work on that person looking back at you. So that when you are looking in the mirror, that person looking back at you is that one that's inside of you, that confident person that it has conquered the world and still going to conquer the world. Do a personal assessment of where you are, an honest personal assessment of what your life is right now. Because if we don't look at the reality, we walk around in rose-colored glasses and we can't fix it. So that personal assessment lets you know, this is the reality of my situation. Now, the positive affirmations will balance that out by saying, okay, this is my reality right now. And I talked to a lady today who is in her 60s and losing everything because of a layoff. That's the reality. So now be honest with that and know that, okay, this is my reality. Either I'm going to sit in it and I'm going to let it consume me and devour me, or I'm going to be a fighter. And I'm not going to let it get me. I'm going to use all of my resources to battle that out. And we'll talk about how to do that in a little bit. But taking an honest personal assessment, what's going on in your life right now? Positive affirmations are what you want to go on in your life from this day forward. Value statements, those are the things that you are going to value, that you're not going to compromise. Like, I am a Christian, and no matter what comes my way, I'm not compromising that. No matter how bad things get, so those are your value statements. I love people. Nothing's going to come and compromise that. So think of your own value statements, those things that are important to you that you will not compromise, even though you may be going through a transition. And then responsibility. Taking responsibility for your life. I was on the phone with a client, and all I heard was, well, she didn't do this. And then when I do this, and they told me they were going to do it, and they didn't do this, and they didn't do, and she didn't do, and he didn't do. And I just listened, and finally I said, the pity party is over. It is not their responsibility. It's yours. Take responsibility for your life and do what you need to do to change it. Because no one else can. No one else could get me out of that chair and do something. Only I could do that. Only I could just sit down and sit in a Starbucks and develop 50-something from nothing. Only I could do that. Only I could see the future of that. And only I could find myself on a stage talking to women and writing a book and coaching women. No one else could see that and do that for me. Take responsibility. I am. Find that identity. Find out who you are. Affirm who you are going to be, the best parts of you. Keep your values consistent, and then be responsible for you. Any questions? If you guys have any questions, you can unmute and we can talk. Anytime you have a question, feel free to chime in, because at the end we can have a discussion as well. So let's move on to the second step, is the types of businesses that you can start after 50. The research shows that after 50, there are certain types of things that that work, that are less risky, and that typically people in their 50s start. So when you're stepping out on your own and being your own CEO, think about if it's going to be that business idea that you've had, or is it better to find something that's already there? And I can tell you now from experience, franchises are not the way to go for someone in their 50s. They're too risky and the cost is too high. So we're going to really talk about those business types. Consulting. Consulting is I think that was the first business that I had back in my 30s. It's still a viable business in your 50s because you can take your experience. Laquita's on the line. She's a legal secretary or legal. She works. I don't know if are you a paralegal, Laquita? You can shake your head.
No, yeah.
You are? Okay. And
no, I mean, I perform paralegal, but I don't have the certificate.
Okay, but you have that. You are a legal secretary, and you know all about the law and how to make someone who is a lawyer, help them do their briefs and do all they need to do to go into court, right?
Correct.
Right. Now, as a consultant, if you decided that that was the route you were going to take, you can take that legal experience that you have, and I know you know this, you could provide that to multiple law firms and have your own business consulting, if that's the route you wanted to go. Me being a writer, when I got out of college, I got a degree in journalism. My first job was writing for a financial firm in their marketing. And then I got married, moved to Phoenix. I wrote advertising for the Broadway Southwest, which is now Macy's. And I used to write all the fashion ads. And then the personal computer came out. And that's where I worked the longest when I was working. And I wrote instructional manuals and marketing materials for software products that were ran on the personal computer, because this was a new thing. I actually still have the first personal computer developed by IBM, because I worked on it, and it was with those floppy disks and all that. And when I got laid off, I took that writing experience, and that's what I did. I consulted for 15 years for software companies. I made more money doing that than I did as their employee. Plus, I had the freedom to work from home or go into their office, with the stipulation that when my kids get out of school, I'm out of here. So consulting is that thing where you can take that skill, that expertise that you've had and that you worked it and helped someone earn, millions of dollars, and use it as your own expertise. So consulting, and it's consulting is the only drawback, and for at this point it's really not, is that everything you do is based on you. If you don't work, you don't get paid. So consulting is about taking your skills and creating either a project fee or an hourly fee. When I did it, I worked hourly, and just making it a high enough amount that I think I charged triple of what I would have made sitting in their office. The next thing is network marketing. Network marketing I know a lot of people think really negative about, I'm so sick of people trying to get me to do this and that. But network marketing is truly probably one of the best business models out there, mainly because it's a low get involved rate, it costs just very little to join. And that's one of the drawbacks, because people try to make it a little hobby rather than a real business. There's no risk to capital in network marketing. You have no risk. All you're doing is buying your product, and you are getting other people to buy into products that are generally higher quality than what you can get in the store, or either a service that's higher. The service is better. It's more customer service than you can get if you went straight to someone providing the service outside of network marketing. Now, most people think network marketing is selling. But in reality, and I believe that you can speak to this too, Carmen, network marketing is about leadership. If you can lead a team of people who are all wanting to have a business and be business minded, you can make millions of dollars in network marketing. And you will not have invested you will have invested very little to do it. I personally, when I did network marketing for a while, the lady that I work with, and she's still a dear friend, is a millionaire in network marketing. We're talking multi-millionaire. And the people that work with her are. So there's a lot of money to make in network marketing. You just have to know it's about leadership and business strategy and not about selling. So it's not about product, it's about leadership and being a business person. Coaching. I decided to go the route of coaching because I just felt this need to really reach out to women, because I felt that was an area that needed women over 50. So coaching and training, that's a good business, because you can get certifications, you can take a problem that you can solve and begin to solve it and help people through it. And there's very little expense involved in starting a coaching business. Nonprofits are also a good business, because you are able to get grants, you are able to get assistance if your service is one that really reaches out to people in need. One of my friends, Crystal, she decided to start a business where she goes out and she helps seniors get to the grocery store or to the mall. It's like a transportation business. And she's gotten grants, she's gotten sponsors to help her. And she's doing something that's needed, but she's also earning a living doing it, because nonprofits have to have someone in leadership who's actually being paid to do it. As long as you're putting the profits from the business back, from whatever service, back into it, you can maintain that status. And then finally, an online store, Shopify, Facebook Marketplace, all the different things that you can do online, Amazon. If you start a business, eBay, and have a product that you want to get out, and you can do it from your computer, that's also a way. All you have to do is be social media savvy and get people to go to your online store. So those are the 5 types that are recommended for people who are in their 50s. Now, if what you want to do doesn't fit in this, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It's just that you can find a way to maybe find that you're wanting to do within this. And as part of this Next Steps program that I will be rolling out, people who are involved in it will have experts from each of these industries, and Carmen is going to be one of those that is going to be able to help guide you through the network marketing piece of this. I wanted to, I think I missed the screen. Okay, so step 3 is to take an inventory of your experience and skills. If there's something that you one of the things that you want to do is know what you have. What are you capable of doing? And the best way to do that is to look at what you've done. Look at your skills and see how they can translate within one of those 5 areas. So taking an inventory is about these 4 things. We all have come from different places, and we all have different experiences and expertise and skills. And some of them fit within a business model, or some of them fit within just a hobby we have, or just a way of making our lives richer. One of those skills I have outside of this is music. I'm a musician at my church. That skill to me, it's I've had it since, I think I played in churches since I was 8 years old. And so some of our skills don't necessarily bring us to income, but it brings us that thing in our heart. I know Laquita's a singer. She sings in her church, beautiful voice. I know Lisa you're still in nursing, right? And Carmen is what we call a connector, a skill that is very unique, and she helps people get things, get other people to see what they are doing. She connects people together, and it's a win-win situation. So one of the first things you do when you want to take an inventory is do a skills assessment. And part of that is, let's think of the 2 sets of skills. One is a soft skill. And those are things like, I'm a good listener, or things like, I really like people, I love people, I love helping people. Those kinds of skills, they don't necessarily have they're soft, but they can translate into some things. Like, I'm a natural born leader. Those skills can translate into a business. So do your soft skills assessment. What are those things that make you unique? I like to organize. There are people make lots of money organizing other people. Hard skills are more of those things that you do that you're like, I'm an accountant, or in my case, I'm a writer, or I'm a designer, or I'm a nurse, or I'm a legal secretary. Those are hard skills. Those are skills that are specific to something you've done, and not everybody has them. So they're unique in that they are industry segmented. So do your skills assessment. Assess those things that are your soft skills, those things about you, those character traits, those things that you love, those things you're passionate about. And then also list those things, those skills that you have that could translate into one of those 5 areas. Example, if your skill is a leader, well, we've already said that network marketing is a leadership business, then maybe you should look at that. If you're an educator, most people in training businesses translate from the education. If you're a nurse, you can take that skill and translate it to being going out into senior places and or opening your own facility to help people. So you can transfer those things those skills into something. The next way to take an inventory is to identify your biggest achievement. What is the thing that it doesn't matter when you did it, but you know that it's the greatest thing that you have ever done? I mean, outside of, our marriages and our children and those kind of things, but your biggest achievement in terms of your skills. What was it? If you were working and you were able to have the highest amounts in in that business, then that's, you know, you want to list that. One of my biggest achievements from a business standpoint was the year I went from earning zero in my interior design business to earning $200,000 and receiving the Business Excellence Award. That award came to me, and I was a single business owner. I was the only one in my business, and I made more than multiple businesses that had multiple people. That was a big achievement for me. Now, the housing market crashed, and you know, I had this big financial problem, but I did achieve it. So don't look at what the outcome of you. If you've achieved it, don't really look at all the stuff around it. You know, I know that I can run a business to success. And even though there was that one singular thing, that doesn't discount that. So put down your biggest achievement. Make a list of your work experience from the time you got out of high school. Everything that you've done as a worker. And on one side of the paper, write that down. Everything. On the other side of the paper, write down what you would love to do if time and money were no issue. If you could just if you could have that ideal dream thing going on in your career or in a business, put that down. And then you'll find that there was something in your work experience that's going to give you the skill to do that thing. Because we tend to go toward the things that we've done, and that the reason we did those things because we had a passion for it. So write that list and then cross-reference those skills, that experience that will fit within that wish list. So that's the next step in this journey to going from making zero to making some income. It's step 4, it's decision time. We do all of this stuff and then we still don't make a decision to do it. You have this goal, you have this dream of doing it, but we don't do it. So we've gone through all these things that you could be capable of doing, but then we just don't make a decision. But it's up to you to make a decision. In one workshop I did, one of the ladies, Carlise Carmen, when she sat there and said that every idea that she came up with, she procrastinated on it and she looked up and someone else had done it. And they will. People will, if you have an idea, someone else has one. So if there is something that you've really been wanting to do, it's decision time. Stop putting it on hold. One of the biggest things that keep us from achieving anything is procrastination. We procrastinate and we put it off, we put it off, we put it off until it's too late. And so if you make that decision based on knowledge, because now you have some knowledge, you know the 5 businesses that if you started one of those, your chances after 50 of not risking the capital or your retirement, it's really low. You know your skills, you know those things that you are good at. I have 4 examples of people who use that were in those businesses. One of them is Diana Gregory. I don't know if you guys know her. Well, if you don't live here, you don't. But Diana Gregory worked for Anheuser-Busch. She was a vice president, and she was so burnt out. We talked about that burnout. After 50, she quit her job and started Gregory's Fresh Market, or Fresh Groceries. And she takes fresh groceries into senior citizens complexes, and they have their own little farmers market. And because she's able to get grants and other donations, the seniors can come and get fresh fruits, and they don't have to leave their facility. She is now one of the biggest nonprofits, most successful nonprofit in the city. So being a nonprofit, it can be, I mean, not only is she helping them and seniors are eating healthier, she's also made a new career for herself. Secondly, Pat Gillum. She is a lady that Carmen and I know. She started the sisterhood. She had a dream. She put it together. And now she's pulling together all of these women within this network called the sisterhood. And she is an example of how you can take those coaching and training skills and create your own business. You can look at, I always throw my daughter, Tamara. She is, she started her own, she helps other women start hair extension businesses. When she came to me, I said, what? You're gonna work with hair? I thought she was crazy. Like, what are you doing, girl? And she was a teacher. But because she's a teacher, she's also a trainer, and she's been able to, we have a 5-year-old granddaughter, and she is able to take care of her, and she has that freedom now to be a mom. Her husband's a AME minister, and they're subject to move him anywhere in the world, but she doesn't mind because wherever she goes, she's going to be successful, and she's turned this business into a very successful online business. And then there is Kathy, my sister Kathy. She works in a spiritual business, and she's a marketing genius. I saw Kathy she's married to a psychiatrist, and now I don't advocate necessarily because they're into this spiritual stuff I don't agree with, but I watched her use her marketing skills, and now they have a serious multi-million-dollar business. Serious. And she took those marketing skills and she created that. Now it's a consulting business. They consult people on their spiritual growth in things that are not necessarily Christian, but she used that skill to do it. So whatever those skills are, they made a decision to do it. And so it's decision time. If you really want to have that extra income or replace that full-time income in 2018, it's time to make that assessment and do it. So here's some ideas, and this is just more of what we talked about. Using your writing skills to either start a blog or write a book. Using listening skills to start a coaching business. Using your nurturing skills to help seniors through a nonprofit. Using your accounting skills to start your own accounting firm. Tax season is here. Using your sales skills and your leadership skills to start a network marketing business. So step 5, think like a CEO. Number 1, girl boss. It's one thing to say, I want to be my own boss. It's another thing to really, truly be your own boss. And I'm going to read these things because I don't want to miss them. So we struggle when we first start a business, and most of that is mindset, that we're not thinking like a true CEO. First of all, CEOs get up early. They start their days early, and they know from the night before what they're going to do the following day. And their goals are already set for the day. They create their own definition of success. So what success looks like to me can be different to you, but a CEO knows what they want and they go for it. And it's their own definition. CEOs have clearly defined goals, especially financial goals. They know from the beginning what their goals are going to be, what they're going to earn, and they work toward that every day. CEOs take risks. They are not afraid to be innovative and mix things up. At the end of during last year, while I was recuperating from being ill, I had a lot of time to think about this whole thing I was doing with reinvention. And it did become apparent to me that I was giving only half of the story. That if you have this lifestyle goal, this reinvention goal, you got to have a way to finance it. And that's part of being that thinking like a CEO and knowing that you have to mix things up so that you can keep up with what's going on. And you're always innovating, always creating, always changing. And then CEOs are constantly learning. You're constantly reading, taking webinars, going to conferences, taking classes, doing things to keep them abreast. And then CEOs think big. They don't have these ideas that, oh, okay, I may do it. They think big. So they're number one girl boss. And these are the ladies I had talked about who are now CEOs of their own business. So you can see Diana Gregory, Pat Gillen, my daughter and my sister, Kathy Gibson. These ladies thought big, thought creatively, and they did it. Now, I could have put a whole bunch of women that we know in the media here that we know are highly successful, but they are not the people that we can relate to. We can relate directly to these because these are ladies just like us. So we know that our success and what we want to do are just available for us, just like they were for them. So when you think like a CEO, first part of that is plan, business plan. If you have a business idea or you have a business, I don't care what kind of business, any of those 5 businesses, you need a business plan. And part of that is vision, and part of it is mission. Know your vision and your mission. Know the financials. Know your products and services, your competitors, and know how you're going to get that to market. Have a marketing plan as part of your business planning. And then you want to have a business setup. You want your business structure to be there. You want your trade, if you have trademarks or copyrights, you want to make sure you get those office set up. If you have, you want to have a designated area to work, and it's part of that, you want to have all the equipment you need to run a business. And then lastly, CEOs have a brand. They have a logo, they have a website, they have a color that they know is their color for their business. They have a look that they continue to use to show their business. When I see something from Carmen, I know it's from her because all of her flyers, all of that has that look that says this is from Carmen. So make sure you have a brand. So think like a CEO. CEOs don't just take it for granted. They know where they're going. And it doesn't matter how big or small you're playing it, still think like a business person. So does anybody have any questions or comments right now? Has this been helpful? Do you see, and I know some of you, like I said, you're already in business. If you can look at some of these things and incorporate them in what you're doing, hopefully it can help you to continue to get to that place. But it's really just mostly getting that mindset of business thinking, this is how I'm going to move forward. So we're going to summarize because we're almost done here. If you're going to go to the next level in your reinvention, knowing who you are is important. And there's never too late to go back and revisit this and be very sure of who is looking back at you when you look in the mirror. Knowing the best business type, if you're already doing it, then knowing, feeling secure that you're in the right place. And that's always a good thing when you're out there, you knowing that, okay, I'm not too far off base. Knowing your skills and expertise and how they can fit within whatever you want to do or whatever you're doing, and making a decision based on your skills. And finally, thinking like a CEO. Have your business plan. That's the first thing I did, was write a business plan. And in that, decide how much money I was going to earn, how many clients I was going to reach. And I do that per month. I do it up to the week. How am I going to do this? How am I going to move forward with this? So think like a CEO, get it done, and take those next steps. So how many of you, if you're not doing it, are you ready to take that next step to reinvention so that you can have your own business or grow your own business? And then how many of you know in your heart that you are able to start a business and grow it, in that if you're able to do that, if you're able to have that extra money, you could live that reinvented lifestyle? How many of you could benefit from a community of women who could help you as you travel this journey? I ask this question because I am doing a mastermind of 5 women, and this Carmen knows about this because we've discussed it, and she knows how this is going to roll out. But I want to put together 5 women who want to either build their business, current business, or start from scratch and take a business idea and go from making zero to actually making money within 3 months. As part of this mastermind, there won't be any more than 5 people. And right now I already have a couple people who have already joined, so I'm not going to have more than 5. It includes 2 one-on-one coaching sessions with me, once right before we start, and the other anytime during that 3 months that you feel you need that one-on-one. It's going to include how to do your business plan, how to write a profit and loss, how to do all those things that are you need to do with having your business. So it comes with workbooks and other resources. And you also get to, like I said, connect with 4 other women who are on the same journey. And there is a weekly call where you have a chance to talk about what's going on in your business. There's accountability. So every week we'll say, well, did you get this done? Were you able to do this? Did you reach your client goals? Did you get your business plan done? And that accountability can really help you grow and reach your goals. The clients that I work with now in their businesses, I've seen them go from nothing to now I have a client that's ready to launch her business in just a few weeks. When I worked with her, she just had an idea and she had no clue how to do it. So being a part of this is going to help you move to that point. And there's a proven system. So it's not just throwing stuff out there. Is a system that we will follow. Part of it will be coaching. Every week you'll be in the hot seat, which we call, you'll have a chance to tell what's going on with you and how what you need to help you to grow. And of course, with these things, there is an investment. And the way I always look at this is I'm about helping people. So if it's something you're really want to do, contact me, we can talk. But the normal price would be $997. I'm introducing it for $797. This is a 3-month program, $270 a month. And so it's just for women in my network, in the group, Facebook group, and women who I have worked with before, whether in a counseling or coaching thing. So if it's something that you're interested in doing, contact me. We can work out the details of it. So I hope you got something from this session. And if you did, I have an online, it's an online, what do you call it, planner. So for anyone who sends me an email telling me what they got out of the a testimonial about tonight, I will send you that. Along with that checklist, I will send you the planner. It's a PDF, so you can just print out. But it helps you to plan it's a weekly planner, a monthly, so you'll be able to know every month and every week within that month what you want to do. So if you're interested in that, I generally charge, I think, $30 for it, but I'm giving it as for being on this call and for emailing me a testimonial that I can use to help other women. If you got something out of it, I want you to be truthful. So anyway, if you have any questions, this is a good time to ask them, or any comments. And otherwise, we're gonna close out. Let me stop the share so I can